Fáilte. Welcome to episode 8 of the Táin Bó Cúailnge, the Cattle Raid of Cooley, with myself, Lora O'Brien. And we are reading from the Joseph Dunn translation. So if you have not seen the rest of the episodes, then please do go back. The playlist should be appearing above here somewhere. So we are on, I said episode 8, actually it's episode 7a, which is the slaying of the Smith's Hound by Cuchulainn. So this one is not too long, so we're going to be going all the way through 7a. Then it was that Cormac Conlongus, son of Concor, spoke. Again, that little lad performed a second deed in the following year. What deed was that? Asked Ailill. A goodly smith there was in the land of Ulster, Cuchulainn the smith by name. He made ready a feast for Concor and set out for Owen to invite him. He made known to him that only a few should come with him, that he should bring none but a true guest along, for as much as it was not a domain or lands of his own that he had, but the fruit of his 2 hands, his sledges and his anvils, his fists and his tongs. Concor replied that only a few would go with him. Cuchulainn went back to the smithy to prepare and make ready meat and drink in readiness for the king. Concor sat in Owen till it was time to set out for the feast. Did I say Cuchulainn went back to the smithy or Concor? I meant Cuchulainn, but apologies if I said Concor. Anyway, sat in Owen till it was time to set out for the feast, till came the close of the day. The king put his fine, light, travelling apparel about him. Concor went on to the fair green, and he saw a thing that astounded him. Thrice 50 boys at one end of the green and a single boy at the other, and the single boy won the victory at the goal and at hurling from the thrice 50 boys. When it was at hole play they were, a game of hole that used to be played on the fair green of Owen, and it was their turn to drive and his to keep guard. He would catch the thrice 50 balls just outside of the hole, and not one went by him into the hole. When it was their turn to keep guard and his to drive, he would send the thrice 50 balls into the hole without fail, and the boys were unable to ward them off. When it was at tearing off each other's garments they played, he would strip them their thrice 50 suits so that they were quite naked, and they were not able, all of them, to take as much as a brooch from his mantle. When it was at wrestling they were, he would throw those same thrice 50 boys to the ground under him, and they did not succeed, all of them around him, in lifting him up. So this is Setanta, because he hasn't, gotten his new name yet. So this is Setanta at the age of about 5 still, I think, maybe 7. He came to Owen when he was 5 anyway, so I'm not sure how far we've progressed in his little age journey here. So he's against 150 of the boy troop of Owen Macha. And he's beaten them at everything, basically, is all that's going on here, as you do, tearing the clothes off them and everything. Concor looked with wonder at the little lad. "O ye youths," cried Concor, "hail to the land whence cometh the lad ye see, if the deeds of his manhood shall be such as are those of his boyhood." "'Tis not just to speak thus," exclaimed Fergus. "E'en as the little lad grows, so will his deeds of manhood grow with him. The little lad shall be called to us, that he may come with us to enjoy the feast to which we go." The little lad was summoned to Concor. "Good, my lad," said Concor. "Come thou with us to enjoy the feast whereto we go, for thou art a guest." "Nay, I will not go," the little boy answered. "How so?" answered Concor. "For as much as the boys have not yet had their fill of games and of sport, and I will not leave them till they have had enough play." "It is too long for us to await thee then, little boy, and by no means shall we wait." "Go then before us," said the little boy, "and I will follow after ye." "Thou knowest naught of the way, little boy," said Concor. "I will follow the trail of the company and of the horses and chariots." So Cuchulainn's going to track where the king and his men and the horses and chariots have gone, so that he'll know the way. So thereafter Conchobar came to the house of Cuchulainn the smith. The king was waited upon, and all were shown honour as befitted their rank and calling and privileges, nobility and gentle accomplishment. It's an interesting one as well, that it's not just their warrior feats that are being, praised and shown honour. It is their gentle accomplishment as well, whatever that entails, but probably is not prowess on the battlefield. Straw and fresh rushes were spread out under them. They commenced to carouse and make merry. Cuchulainn inquired of Conchobar, "Hast thou, O king, appointed any to come after thee this night to this dún?" And a dún is a fort, as I've said before. Conchobar has a temporary amnesia here, so he says, "No, I appointed no one," replied Conchobar, for he had forgotten the little lad whom he had charged to come after him. "Why so?" asked Conchobar. "An excellent bloodhound have I, that was brought from Spain. When his dog chain is loosed from him, no one dares to approach the same cantred with him to make a course or a circuit, and he knows no one but myself. The power of hundreds is in him for strength." Then spake Conchobar, "Let the dún be opened for the bandog, that he may guard the cantred." The dog chain was taken off the bandog, and he makes a swift round of the cantred. And he comes to the mound whereon he was wont to keep guard of the stead, and there he was, his head couched on his paws, and wild, untamable, furious, savage, ferocious, ready for fight was the dog that was there. As for the boys, they were in Owen until the time came for them to disperse. Each of them went to the house of his father and mother, of his foster mother and foster father. Then the little lad went on the trail of the party, till he reached the house of Cuchulainn the smith. He began to shorten the way as he went with his playthings. When he was nigh to the green of the fort where Cuchulainn and Conchobar, he threw all his playthings before him except only the ball. The watchdog descried the lad and bayed at him, so that, I think baying is like a howling basically, so that in all the countryside was heard the howl of the watchhound, and not a division of feasting was what he was inclined to make of him, but to swallow him down at one gulp past the cavity of his chest and the width of his throat and the pipe of his breast. And the lad had not with him any means of defence, but he hurled an unerring cast of the ball, so that it passed through the gullet of the watchdog's neck and carried the guts within him out through his back door. His back door. And he laid hold of the hound by the two legs and dashed him against a pillar stone that was near him, so that every limb of him sprang apart, so that he broke into bits all over the ground. Now, when we were kids, we heard that Cuchulainn had his hurl and his slither, which is the leather ball that they use for hurling, and that he whacked the slither with the hurl down. By the way, if you don't know what a hurl is, we've mentioned it a couple of times. It's basically a long wooden stick. Hurling is the oldest extant sport in the world, as far as I know, in that it's still played in pretty much the same way as it was always played, so it's kind of intact. And it's also one of, if not the fastest. Go and Google hurling or look it up on YouTube here, and you'll get an idea of what we're talking about and what a hurl looks like, the wooden stick that they play with. So yeah, we were told that he had his hurl and his slither, and and he whacked the ball down the horse's gullet. We never heard a thing about the back door. Now, I have to say, when we were in school, we never got that bit, but that's an interesting little tidbit. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely never heard of him getting dashed against a pillar, so all his limbs sprang apart and broke in bits all over the ground. I think I would have liked the story a bit better if I had known all those details now, I have to say, when I was a bit younger. So anyway, Conchobar heard the yelp of the bandog. "Alas, O warriors," cried Conchobar, "in no good luck have we come to enjoy this feast." The king is suddenly starting to remember now. "How so?" asked all. The little lad who has come to meet me, my sister's son, Setanta, son of Sualtam, is undone through the Hound. As one man arose all the renowned men of Ulster. Through a door of the hostel, though a door of the hostel was thrown wide open, they all rushed in the other direction out over the palings of the fortress. But fast as they all got there, faster than all arrived Fergus, and he lifted the little lad from the ground on the slope of his shoulder and bore him in the presence of Conchoir. And Cuchulainn came out, and he saw his slaughter hound in many pieces. He felt his heart beating against his breast. Whereupon he went into the dune. Welcome thy coming, little lad, said Cuchulainn, because of thy mother and father, but not welcome is thy coming for thine own sake. So he's showing honor and respect basically because he is the son of Sualtam, and they would be, and his mother is the sister of the king, obviously, so they would be in very good standing. So he is showing his proper respect because of his mother and his father, but he's saying basically, F you, you're not welcome for your own sake. Yet would that I had not made a feast. So he's basically wailing that he even invited anybody for a feast. What hast thou against the lad? Queried Conchoir. Not lucky for me hast thou come to quaff my ale and to eat my food, for my substance is now a wealth gone to waste, and my livelihood is a livelihood lost now after my dog. Good was the friend thou hast robbed me of, even my dog, in that he tended my herder and flocks and stock for me. Be not angered thereat, O Cuchulainn, my master, said the little boy. It is no great matter, for I will pass a just judgment upon it. What judgment thereon wilt thou pass, lad? Conchoir asked. If there is a whelp of the breed of that dog in Erin, he should be reared by me till he be fit to do business as was his sire. Till then, myself will be the hound to protect his flocks and his cattle and his land, and even himself in the meanwhile. Well hast thou given judgment, little lad, said Conchoir. In sooth, we ourselves could not give one that would be better, said Cathfa. Cathfa's the druid, Conchoir's druid. Why should it not be from this that thou shouldst take the name Cuchulainn? Take the name CúChulainn, wolfhound of Cuchulainn. Nay then, answered the lad, dearer to me mine own name, Setanta, son of Sualtam. Say not so, lad, Cathfa continued, for the men of Erin and Alba shall hear that name, and the mouths of the men of Erin and Alba shall be full of that name. So they're after naming him Cú. Cú is hound or wolfhound, and Cuchulainn is the smith. So the wolfhound of Cuchulainn, or Cuchulainn's wolfhound, actually, be more accurate. So he's saying he doesn't want the name. He's happy with his own name, Setanta, son of Sualtam. And the druid has stepped in now and is basically saying that he's prophesying for the name, and that it'll be in the mouths of Erin, the mouths of men of Erin and Alba, Scotland. It pleaseth me so, whatever the name that is given me, quoth the little lad. Hence the famous name that stuck to him, namely Cuchulainn, after he had killed the hound that was Cuchulainn the smith's. A little lad did that deed, added Cormac Conlongus, son of Conchoir, when he had completed 6 years after his birth. So it's a year since he'd first come to, I wasn't sure what the time frame was. It's a year since he'd first shown up in the court. 6 years after his birth, when he slew the watchdog that hosts nor companies dared not approach in the same cantred. No need would there be of wonder or of surprise if he should come to the edge of the marches, if he should cut off the four-pronged fork, if he should slay 1 man or 2 men or 3 men or 4 men, now when his 17 years are completed on the cattle driving of Cuchulainn. So that is 7a, the slaying of the smith's hound by Cuchulainn, and the reason he is called Cuchulainn. So there you go, and now you know. So if you enjoyed this reading, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the like, because it helps YouTube to show It helps to show YouTube that it's popular and that people like it, and they will show the videos to more people. So please do hit like and make sure that you're on the mailing list for updates, because I do regular updates for in case you miss anything, and hit the bell for notifications and all that good stuff. So I will see you in the next video. Slán go fóill.